Hello, Soul for X community. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful Friday evening. Today is May the 21st, 2021. It's been since May the 8th, approximately, since the last time I did a video regarding a little bit of the news. Of course, I'm not the best news anchor out there, but like if you remember, if you watched one of our last episodes, what did I say about beer? So go back and review, and then you will understand why I say I'm not a professional um, an anchor right now, but you will get used to me, especially if you remember when you start drinking your first beer, right? But anyway, that's not an endorsement for beer, especially if you're underage. Make sure that you are of a legal age. But all jokes aside, believe it or not, May 18, my son and I, Ron Martinez, started this YouTube channel, and we survived our first month, and we are very glad and happy that we started it. Something that Ronald's idea and myself to share different topics that him and I share all the time during our daily or monthly or weekly conversations that we have. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, smashing the like button, and also setting your notifications on. And why it's important about your notification? Something that made me feel real good about a couple of days ago when I had a friend of mine in Texas that he called me and we're talking about different things. And he said to me, "Hey, by the way, you guys still doing YouTube videos?" And I thought, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," and I explained the reason why we were delayed. But what made me feel real good about it is because at least I know that he had his notification set, and because he hasn't seen any videos, obviously he decided to ask me if we are producing videos. So that made me feel that somebody out there is watching the videos, and hopefully he's learning and putting that YouTube channel at nighttime beside his bed and listening to all the podcasts that we have produced so far. But the other thing that I wanted to say, I almost forgot about it. What I just said a minute ago is that we with that anniversary that we just came in, we hopefully the reason I'm sorry that the delay was producing the videos is that Ronald just got a new Apple computer, and so he got the Apple computer. It didn't have something about the terabytes not compatible with the hard drive that he had, so he had to return the Apple computer in exchange for another one. So he's just recently got the setup done, and he finally released the latest videos. I think it's package number 6 that you should be able to see. But we should be on coming up. Recording between me and him again. I think it's going to be this Sunday. And by the way, on that Sunday, we hopefully have another special guest. The first guest that we had before guest was my sister. She was our first international um, guest that we had on that day from Korea. And so this hopefully is coming Friday. We're going to have another guest coming in on board and another person that just recently got involved into the crypto space. And so hopefully he can share with us his experience and then we go from there. But anyway, not to have any further delays, guys, today we want to talk about what the Fed is doing this summer. They just going to take a vacation or what? Also, right, is it better to be green or red? I don't know. It just depends, right? Um, the other thing is 400,000%. What in the world is 400,000% of what? What's going on in there, right? Also, if you have not seen any whales out there, hopefully today we're not using the crystal ball. Today we're going to use our egg or oval egg. As you know, it has a little fish. So hopefully we send this fish out there and see what the whales are doing out there. And it's going to tell us what's going on, right? If you guys remember, that's the story about this in Italy. It cost me about $250 to $300. And then my crystal ball, bought it here in the United States, it cost me only about $10 or $5. I mean, who decides, right? Which one is worth the most? But anyway, let's keep moving on regarding here the crypto space. Some of you guys, if you bought the crypto recently, you probably either wondering what in the world is going on. You probably crying. Hopefully you did not. So, or maybe you did so, right? It's really up to you. Let me take that back. Hopefully you did whatever it is best for you. And hopefully you have listened to some of our previous podcasts, kind of like give you ideas of how Ronald and myself come into the market. And again, those are just ideas. It's nothing that you need to follow us. As a matter of fact, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice, and definitely not tax advice. Whenever we talk about these things, it's really for educational purpose and entertainment purposes, and really get you involved in you to learn how to do certain things, whether you're getting involved in the stock market, whether you're getting involved in the crypto space, whether you really need to seek tax advice or whatnot. I remember a long time ago, of course, I kind of knew already because in being in real estate that you make money, you have to pay, right? And you have to pay the taxes. But a lot of times people, get into this space, they buy certain assets, whether it's stocks or cryptos, make money, and they forget that they have to pay taxes at the end of the year. And before you know it, they do the taxes and they make money, they end up owning money. Of course, things are more complicated than that. And as always, seek, professional tax advice from your CPA or whoever does your taxes. And again, this is not legal, advice by any means. Now, with that says, let's get started to the news because I'm quite sure that's the most important thing of the day. Now, the stock market in general, today, for example, it did finish kind of like flat. On this S&P 500 finished 0.8 in the red. The Dow Jones, the Dow finished 0.36 positive, and the NASDAQ 0.48, not even 1 point across the board for any of these indices, right? And everything has to do with what's going on out there. A lot of people's concerned as far as inflation is concerned. You've probably been to the store, gas, the gas prices. Obviously, the gas prices have to do the pipeline, but there are a lot of concerns as far as inflation. The government printing a lot of money. There's a lot of uncertainty. And as my son always would say, people's having FUD, FUD. Kind of sounds like a bad word, but FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and everything being created pretty much based upon the news. And of course, everything that the news are mentioning perhaps might be true, but a lot of times people get impatient and they decide just to react on things and either decide to sell or buy depending on how they feel, right? Either FUD or either FOMO, fear of missing out. Now, with that said, let's get it going here. And now, before we go any further, this is the coin market cap. As you notice here, pretty much everything is in the red. What you see in the green here is just that the tether is stacked to the US dollar. So that's the reason you see the $1 1-for-1. But in general, the top 10 coins from Bitcoin all the way down to, okay, this is another coin stuck to the US dollar, all the way pretty much to this other number 9 are in the red and so on and so forth. So you can scroll and pretty much everything in the red. Bitcoin in itself, in the last 7 days is negative 24%. Ether is negative 40%. And then, of course, the one that everybody is following right now, Dogecoin is negative 35%. Now, remember, when you think about this percentage, it's really negative to that person who came in at a specific point in time, right? Whenever we talk about in general. So as far as the market is concerned, yes, within 7 days, those are the numbers that I just said. But you still could be positive. For example, I came in February into the market. I'm still positive in the overall crypto space. My account has fluctuated all the way between 68% all the way up to about 5% roughly. I haven't checked recently. It might be even close to zero in the positive right now. Just real quick note regarding that, I sold some of my crypto probably roughly around May the 8th, plus or minus a few days there. My belief is that you have to lock in some profits when you know or you have a feeling of whatever your personal circumstances might be or how you calculate in the markets. So I came in the market February this year. So I say, hey, the markets are doing well right now. They are fluctuating up and down. And for me, it was important to protect my capital, right? My initial investment. So I ended up pulling some of that money out and cashing out in those crypto spaces. And in some of them, I came back in when I saw that it had dipped a certain percentage. Now, for somebody, for example, let's say like Ronald, he came into the crypto market way back in March. So he's probably way in the green, even though he might still showing a large amount of a percentage of his count being reduced. but that doesn't mean that he is in the negative, because obviously he came in, for example, when the market was really, really, really low. A good example would be, for example, I think on Bitcoin, he might have came in plus or minus somewhere when it was between 9,000 to 20,000. I came in crypto space when it was in the 30,000 to 40, and ended up buying even up to the 55 at one point, I believe. And many of those coins the same way. Cardano, I came in when it was 74 cents. Cardano right now, if you notice here, Cardano is at 154. So obviously I am in the red. Somebody that came in a couple of days ago, it is in the red, but I am in the green at 74. And of course, I have also bought Cardano when it was in the 150s, plus or minus, and maybe 160 at one point. But in the overall sense, for me, Cardano is still in the green. I still can afford that that cushion. And then, of course, what my goals are, if I'm long term or short term. Now, those guys are not the news, but to me are news, and hopefully you look at those as news and help you make a determination when to come in or out. Now, since I'm in that subject, might as well keep going for another minute or two. The same thing goes, guys. If you have been listening to our channel but are thinking of getting into the crypto space now, then you have to make a determination. Maybe you at the right time, right? I know someone, for example, and I'm going to go real quickly. I didn't want to do this right away, but I'm going to go to Bitcoin, for example. Look at Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin on what's this day? May 18. It went all the way down to $30,000. Nobody ever thought that Bitcoin would ever get to $30,000 when it was when it made it all the way into the $60,000 range, from 60 to 30. That 50% loss. And so anyway, my point is that if you saw Bitcoin coming at $30,000, now remember you can buy a fractional. Doesn't mean you have to pay $30,000. You can put $100. If you bought Bitcoin when it was when it dipped to $30,000, well, Bitcoin the next day it went all the way up to $42,400. So that means you would have made from $30,000 to $42,000. That's a good percentage of profits, right? Depending if you would have bought it at that time. So a lot of time depend when it's coming in. If you think the market is still going down, just hold tight. You don't need to rush in to get back into the market. And later on, I'm going to mention about this 200-day moving average line in here. It had nothing to do with the news. I just got into this conversation. I figured I just keep going on because it is important to know, if you were already in it, you have determined when to get out. If you're there for the long term, hey, more power to you. More likely you will make it. This guy the other day, Michael Saylor, managed a big company and he has a lot of investment in crypto. He said, if you were to have bought Bitcoin in the price range of the 60,000 and you wait 4 years, he says, more likely you're going to make more money. So whatever you buy of crypto now, you wait 4 years, statistically, nobody has lost money if they wait at least 4 years. So if you're here in the long term, hey, maybe that might work for you. Again, this is not a recommendation, just verbatim what somebody else has said and why it has been a statistical data. Now, me personally, if I came in February, right, somewhere in this range, February 20 something, somewhere in this range right here, okay, let's say in the 30s or 40s, right? Or actually right before he spiked right here. So somewhere in this 39 range is when I start buying. And then of course I will higher. Well, if I bought in this 39,000 and now it's at 37 and I didn't sell anything, and I believe, let's say for example, that was the end of the bull market, and I decided to cash out, I didn't lose anything. I'm good to go. Somebody that just came in and bought at 60,000, they had to make a determination what they want to do with the Bitcoin. They might have to stay now for the long term. So again, hopefully later on I'll do a video of how I normally buy this crypto. And at least from my personal view, when is it that I get out, the based upon when I came in, okay? So right now, Bitcoin just hit the 200-day moving average a couple of days ago. For me, that is a big technical support. And so Bitcoin, in my opinion, needs to bounce off this 200-day moving average in order to remain in the bull market. If Bitcoin breaks this 200-day moving average that we are currently in, that you can see Bitcoin close below on the 18th. Yesterday it closed above. Today it hasn't closed yet, but it looks like it's going to close in the red the 21st. And the cryptocurrencies, they open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So hopefully over the weekend it tries to maintain above it. If it doesn't maintain above it, from a technical perspective, for me and many other traders out there might view it differently. And that's the reason I got out sometime here on May the 7th, me personally, is when I saw Bitcoin not breaking these higher highs. And now it failed to break this high way up here, right? And eventually it went below this other support line right here. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm not taking any chances. So I sold a good percentage of it to make sure I locked in my profits. Next goal for me is this 200 days. So now I'm looking into buying. This actually, I end up buying some right here when it bounced off this 200. But now I have to watch out and it can go back to the 30. And that will be my next level to buy. So anyway, that is that guy that I wanted to show you. And the reason earlier I said, hey, you like to be red or green for the stock market. You want Bitcoin to be in the red. So right now, you probably loving it if it's in the red. If you don't have no crypto at all, or you don't have no Bitcoin at all, no Dogecoin at all, you love to be in the red, right? Because why? Now it gives you the opportunity to perhaps get into the market based upon where is it going. But imagine if we were in the green, consistently going up and up, you would say, you know what, this trend left me, and there's no chance for you to get in. So sometimes bad news is good news. So that means some of the news that we're going to mention here real quickly, and I will cut it short, right? I'm on a timer here, so because I wanted to make sure I didn't pass no more than 25 minutes. So I got 8 minutes left. So hopefully I do good. But this is important for me to transmit this to you from my perspective, me as being in this space now, how I look at things. So being in the red is good for you. Is good for you. Things collapsing and going down is good because that is where it gives you an opportunity, perhaps, to come in the market later on, while somebody that came in earlier is concerned and worried. Now, my other son Ronald, he's not really worried, and when I talk to him, sometimes he's like, "You're not worried," and of course, I understand why, because he came in way back in during the pandemic, right? And during March, so he got way much room to go. He's not really at a loss per se or his initial investment because he might have bought Bitcoin, and I don't want to speak for him. He might have bought Bitcoin at $9,000, and we are at 30. He bought, I think, Cardano. I bought it in the price range Cardano. I bought Cardano 88 in the 70 price range. Myself, I ended up buying it right here, so in the 70 range here. Well, Cardano, look at Cardano went all the way down here a couple of days back, right here, this big candle. They went all the way down to $1.02. So even the Cardano hit $1.02 right here. I'm not even at a loss, so I'm not worried. But if you bought it when Cardano was $1 and above, 110, sorry about it, right? So you have to always, like I say, always look at the chart, look at the thing where we're at overall in the market as far as the chart is concerned. So right now, later on, like I said, we go over and hopefully teach a little course on how I do my support and resistance. There's a lot of traders there that do it very differently. So that's what we are with Cardano, right? Look at today. Today's a nice green candle forming a red candle here again above the 50-day moving average. That's a very good sign as long as we stay above that 50-day moving average, right? So anyway, so it just depends when you come in the market. That's what I said to you earlier. If we are in the red, the regular market is in the red. You don't have no cryptos, and even if you have cryptos, it's an opportunity, perhaps. You just got to watch the market and see what's best for you, okay? All right, let's keep moving forward and let's get to see what happened, right? What happened pretty much is that Bitcoin prices fall after China calls for crackdown on Bitcoin mining and trading behavior. So imagine China saying those words. That would people put in panic, right? That would put people in panic and everybody starts selling. The Chinese Vice Premier Liu He and the State Council say tighter crypto regulation is needed to protect the financial system. Now, if you look at that sentence in itself, There's nothing wrong with what he just said, right? If you are a country, don't you want to protect your financial system? Don't you want to make sure that no other, let's say, foreign currency or some other type of crypto, in this case, takes over your currency? You kind of want to protect that. And the same thing is happening in the United States. You know, the United States is working on regulation and whatnot and so on and so forth because they want to protect the US dollar, right? They don't want Dogecoin, for example, to become the currency that it is used here in the United States. So obviously, when this news came about, this actually made Bitcoin prices to tumble, right? Bitcoin prices tumbled Friday following an intensified call from Chinese authorities to crack down on mining and trading of the cryptocurrency. You know, the statement late releases are what? The statement released late Friday in China said it is necessary to crack down on Bitcoin mining and trading behavior and resolutely prevent the transmission of individual risks to the social field. So obviously, if you're thinking that they're putting regulations on yourself and whatnot, and you cannot do crypto mining anymore in China, obviously that's going to make people start panicking and just doing a sell-off, right, of that cryptocurrency. Um, Let me see. I had something else in here that I want to share, but that's pretty much in China in general. What's going on with China that made the market to go even farther down. Okay. But this is the other. That was one article early, but then later on also this came about, right? It says China announced on Tuesday tougher ban on banks and payment companies offering crypto-related services, further, obviously preventing the big wipe out that we mentioned earlier of the $1 trillion, right? Okay. So obviously, when you just lost 1 trillion in the market cap, people will have a lot of FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then, of course, what happened on May 8th? Elon Musk coming around on SNL, and after SNL sending a tweet saying that he no longer is going to accept Bitcoin as a payment for Tesla because Bitcoin is bad for the environment, right? It puts a negative footprint in the environment. It's not an effective use of electricity, right? The way that is produced. Now, of course, I don't want to go into detail. Obviously, there are many miners out there that they use solar power, water power, hydroelectric power, and whatnot. But that was one of the reasons why it made the market collapse. Okay. Now, the other thing is this: what's going on, right? This congressman said that a lot of his colleagues do not have a deep understanding of currencies, of cryptocurrencies. So also that doesn't help because what that means is you have a certain group of congressmen here or the congressmen, men or women on this other side, and they're both thinking of crypto as different things. Somebody might think of as a digital asset. Some of them might think as a currency asset. So there's really no regulation of what to do with that system. And so, of course, that creates all this uncertainty, and all this news also keep adding up to for the cryptos to continue to go down. Okay. Ooh, now this is what I said earlier about the whales, right? And that's why I put my little fish in there. Now listen to this, guys. While people are panicking, right, and they are selling the bitcoins, well, the whales, as I understand it, are these either individuals, companies, corporations, or perhaps even financial institutions that they will buy the dip. Okay, so when Bitcoin is falling down and you are panicking and you are selling and you having all this FUD, right, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, then these whales will come in and they will start buying some of that crypto because they are there for the long term, right? Some of the investors, they understand the crypto space. And so they will stay there for the long term and buying the crypto when you sell it. They're buying it cheap and then it goes up eventually with time. They actually have those type of diamond hands. And don't get me wrong, I talked to Ronald, recently, and I'm like, Ronald, are you going to sell your Bitcoin? Are you going to sell your Bitcoin? Are you going to sell your Bitcoin? And I'm there like already selling mine because my personal way or how I run my own personal account is different than him and anybody else, right? I just want to make sure that I don't get stuck, let's say with Bitcoin in the 50,000 price range. I'd rather perhaps just sell it and maybe I wait here and buy at the $30,000, right? And whether we go in a bear market or not. But anyway, that's a different subject there. Okay, but you kind of understand the point. So anyway, the whales pretty much are picking up stuff that people already are selling. Okay, while retail traders are easily scared by this type of news, whales and market makers know how to spot a buying opportunity, which was the case for today's drop to 36,000. So you get that? So you bought it at 40, 50, and then you sell it at 30, you lost. And then other people, including individuals like myself, might be picking up some Bitcoin, for example, when it's really at the low price, right? But anyway, and of course, China banned Bitcoin trading way back in 2017. That's another thing, guys. This is not something new. My understanding, 2017, 2019, China have been buying Bitcoin one way or the other. And now, of course, just happened again, the government saying that they are going to be more restricted, right? Okay, so that's that as far as that news. Oh, right. Now here, guys, comes the 400,000%. Now, if you look in the long term, Bitcoin has been up 400,000% since June 2011, right? So a lot of times people will panic because Bitcoin just dropped to 30,000 or 40,000 or 50,000, or it's not going higher than 60,000. But if you look at the overall picture of the crypto space, even though you might consider it to be very volatile, in which it is, right? It could be, in the long term, you have a great possibility to continue to have good gains, potential good gains, right? This is not, again, professional advice or financial advice in any means, but just kind of giving an idea, since you're brand new to the crypto space, that this has been going on for a long time as far as trying to ban crypto or trying to put regulation around it, right? And hopefully they do regulation and it makes, for good sense, common sense. But this is a good analysis that despite other people might be criticizing it, Bitcoin, they failed to realize the percentage gain that happened. And at the end of the day, crypto pretty much is here to stay. And that leaves me, what is the Fed doing this summer, right? They're not taking a vacation. They're actually taking steps. They're going to release some sort of letter, right, this summer, trying to develop a digital currency. So the Fed this summer will take another step in developing a digital currency. Now, I personally think the United States is a little bit behind. I think other countries around the world are already ahead of the ball game, but I am glad that this will happen. Now, some people in the currency, in the crypto space, might look at this as a negative, but, and it probably might be, because if the federal government is going to be creating a cryptocurrency, then what happens to Bitcoin? What happens to Dogecoin? What happened to Cardano and ADA and Ether, right? And every other coin out there. So some might be concerned and decide to start selling off now because, hey, the government might come up with this other type of digital asset or digital currency. So that might make this FUD also, right? So, but it is a good move if you ask me. And let's try to conclude here. But besides that, guys, there's also good news out there, right? Other news that are not easily reported. Now, Dubai, okay, Dubai is welcoming cryptocurrency. Dubai is taking another step to embrace cryptocurrency thanks to a new agreement between Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority and the United Arab Emirates. So there's always out there good news about the crypto space that you actually don't get to see. So a lot of these countries are really getting involved, right? And I forgot, there's another, I think a sporting stadium or sporting franchise in the United States that actually decided that they're going to start also accepting Dogecoin as a digital method of payment to buy some of the merchandise, so it is here to stay, guys. But I wanted to let you know as far as that is concerned. And again, just to recap, this is what we are in the market. Learn charts, right? Learn to go to, I think if you look at my previous videos, that's the reason I'm going to go in detail. Learn to go to yahoofinance.com. Later on, hopefully I will create a video on how you can set up this moving average, the 20, the 50, the 200 moving average, so you can understand exactly how to read some of these charts, at least have a little basic understanding, so you can visualize it and make a decision for your own self, decide, hey, wait a minute, I'm over here, this does seem to be going higher, should I get in now or should I wait? And if you already have some cryptocurrency, should I sell some of it now or should I hold it for the long term? You eventually have to come up with that plan. Sorry for beating that to you guys to death, but our goal here in this Solve for X podcast is to help you solve those issues for you of something new, something that might come on board, whether it is might be buying a house. You know, I'll tell you some news of what's going on in my world later on also. But anyway, guys, thank you for staying tuned. Again, the way that you can reward us for our efforts in here is by subscribing to the channel. Again, if you already haven't done so, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the smash the like button, and also set your notifications. And the last fourth one that I like to is also recommend it to your friends and family members so they can be a part of this team. All right, have a good one, guys. I appreciate staying tuned. And of course, health before wealth. And I still got some daylight. And so hopefully I go and do my hiking at least 2 or 3 miles today. If not, I'm going to have to do it tomorrow, Saturday. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.